It's Monday, November 3rd. Welcome to Scouting the League. It's a big day tomorrow on the NFL calendar as that NFL trade deadline comes. So, today we discuss just a few of the things you should pay attention to. But before we do that, as we always do, make sure you head over, like, subscribe, share this podcast wherever you are listening and watching. Whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or that video portion over on YouTube, hit those buttons. Most importantly, share this podcast with a friend. Get the word out there. People that we bring on actually know football. Neil and I, we're in the industry. Make sure you're listening to sources who are credible, which is what we always try to do. We're not making predictions, saying anything outlandish just for click's sake. We have been in the draft room. We have been through the grind. We know what you want to hear. Peeling back the curtain every day on everything in football. Head over to my website, rsafootball.com, for all the information about my background, all our partners, all the sources you need to know. Head over, follow me on X at RightStepADV. I, of course, am Rodrik David. 6 years with the NFL Falcons as a pro scout and college scout. 1 year with the Tennessee Titans as well. Neil Stratton, who joins us every week, is at Inside the League on X. InsideTheLeague.com is his website. And make sure while you're over on that website of mine to check out thescoutingcommunity.com. For scouts and aspiring scouts, it is going to be a spot for you, completely confidential, but get you the information, the resources, and maybe that little bit of help you need to do your job better or get that job that you've always wanted. Custom plans for you, whether you're an aspiring scout, and for NFL scouts, get that maybe non-union, union information as we continue to try to make the industry better in every way we can. That's all over at thescoutingcommunity.com. Check out our partners with bluemaca.com. Again, that website there, or the logo there on the website. Use that code SCOUTING20 to get that discount on your insoles that will improve your performance as soon as you slide them into your shoes. As well as inactiveco.com for that sleepwear with Jill and Lori. Really excited about upcoming episodes we have. This week on Wednesday, Jay Paterno of Penn State joins us to talk about the state of Penn State as well as collective bargaining. Everyone knows it's coming. Jay's not afraid to talk about it. So really excited about that. Going to be a great episode. Make sure you tune in. And tomorrow, we step outside of the draft room, but into the negotiating room, talking with Mike McCartney of Vayner Sports about that new deal that Aiden Hutchinson and the Detroit Lions signed. Excited. Friend of the program, one of the great agents out there, Mike McCartney. Really excited about that one. Gary Zauner, Todd Worley coming up in coming weeks as well. He is getting back into the draft room. So make sure you have this one set your reminder, set the automatic downloads, all that kind of good stuff. So with the trade deadline happening tomorrow, 1,000 scenarios, lots of trade engines, AI telling us what the right trade, right compensation would be. Again, lots and lots of rumors, most of them pulled completely out of thin air by people in the media who just want things to talk about and need things to talk about. We have seen some happen already. Again, from the beginning of the season to now, we've had some, again, moderately big trades. The Eagles making things happening, as Howie is always aggressive at the trade deadline with the team close to getting back to that Super Bowl. They want to make it happen again. Again, you talk about the 3 trades they've made. Again, now bringing Jalen Phillips up from Miami for a 3rd rounder, end of his contract. Again, bolstering that pass rush. Again, bringing Brandon Graham in as well. Again, the Eagles, aggressive buyers, sellers. Again, anybody that starts talking about, hey, this team should just sell, they're at least a year away. Again, we have seen over time, these are teams, it's 1 year. 1 year you can turn it around, at least get to the playoffs. And if you get to the playoffs, you have a chance to make a run. Again, we saw it with the Washington Commanders last year, going from, I believe it was 4-12 to, again, 12-13 wins. Again, a 1 year turnaround. It looks like they may make the opposite turn again this year as they've dealt with a bunch of injuries. Now it looks like Jaden Daniels going to be out for a bit. Again, they should not be sellers for pieces that are, foundational for their franchise. You want to trade off a back end piece, a contract expiring piece. That's great. Great players, great organizations don't do things with short term in mind typically, unless again you're an Eagles team that, hey, 1 year we're going for it, but again they still have a bunch of young players they're bringing along. So again, you have to look at the whole picture. Again, as I sit here and think about all the time I spent in the pro scouting department, you think about the rumors you hear over the years. Most of these rumors are generated from just a couple spots. Generated, one, by the team that wants the player. Again, maybe they put out something, a little floater that makes it seem a little bit more likely that a trade's going to happen. Maybe the team that wants to get rid of a player starts getting some information out there to, again, kind of drum up the market. The agent is always certainly going to be a part of the process when it comes to trade time. Again, if they want to make something happen or don't, certainly certain agencies are always going to be a little bit more aggressive with that. And then that last one that is the most unreliable one, someone in the media thinks they know how to run a team, thinks they have all the answers for wherever it is that trade's going to happen. Again, these are largely unreliable, usually fairly obvious if you follow trends, follow tracks for both teams and the way they operate. Again, so many of these where, hey, I just want to type some names in. Hey, this would be fun, kind of like draft things where you can go through. I drafted for all 32 teams, 7-round drafts here as we sit in the middle, beginning of November. Again, just silly practices. Again, you want to be, have fun, great. Giving these types of people platforms is not good for the game of football, but again, it's going to happen anyway. Scouts across the league, mostly on that pro side, people in the building, are they're doing their work on everyone. It's a lot of times it's a part of that pro scouting advance for upcoming opponents. It's, your initial work on free agency. You're also going back through and thinking about, hey, what are the positions that we need to be thinking about? But ultimately, everybody is going to be evaluated. Everybody is going to have some grades on them within about the last year. And as your high level executives go through this, think about what they're going to do at that trade deadline. These grades will pop back up. And again, as I said right there, the top level executives are usually where these trade conversations are happening. Usually only a few people involved. Usually your GM, typically your head coach as well. Outside of that, it is a very, very small room that is going to be on this. Oftentimes that cap guy, your salary cap person, is going to be involved because, again, there may be contractual considerations you have to consider, whether it's an extension, whether it's something that you need to get adjusted if we're going to make a trade for this player, cap guarantees, all that kind of good stuff. So they're going to be involved. High level assistant GMs, directors of player personnel be involved with that. Occasionally you'll get a coach involved, but again, as soon as you start opening up that room, the chances that trade information can get out there certainly increases. Again, just a slip of the tongue, maybe a sign that they give, whether they're talking in the media or in a game plan. Again, things can certainly show up. At this point, you're only going to have a couple involved as you start to get the agents involved when things are really down to the wire to make sure everybody happens on the same page. If you really want to know what players are going to be true candidates at this time, go back and look at your preseason cut down times and think about guys that were true roster questions as it was coming down to 53 time. Again, this is really obvious and really clear to see in New England, where, again, two guys that they traded away, Keon White and Kyle Duggar, they were true questions. Again, they're for Kyle, good player, has contributed, not a part of Mike Vrabel's plans, not a part of Elliott Wolf's plans there long term. Again, there were questions whether he would get cut at 53 time, traded there. Again, he's played some quality snaps. Same thing for Keon, played some quality snaps, but not a part of their future plans. These are the types of players, hey, at 53 time, getting into week one, they were the best option on our 53. We are going to keep them and not just turn them loose for turn them loose sakes, but we're going to get some value after we have them on our roster for a while. Again, really clear to see in New England. Go back. You want to find out what players are really true candidates. Go back to that 53 time and see, hey, who are good quality players that have now played quality starter, significant backup snaps through the first 8-9 weeks of the season, and see who are the players that could actually be real candidates. Rarely is somebody just completely out of left field. Wow, we didn't ever see this trade coming. Again, it was for the Dolphins. If things go south, it's going to be pass rushers and a bunch of other pieces down there that could be on the block. For the Saints, obviously Olave's been a big name. Again, you don't typically see good franchises trading those big key pieces away. I think Olave should be in those plans long term for New Orleans. I don't see him getting moved, but again, I've been wrong before. For guys like Calvin Ridley, whose name is brought up on the block, that contract certainly dictates it. But again, do you want to trade away a long-term wide receiver? You've got a rookie quarterback. He needs some targets. Again, I would have to get a big haul if I am that front office there in Tennessee, if I'm going to give up on Calvin Ridley already after that contract. So again, think about what makes it short term, long term. Don't just throw out names. Give it some thought. Hit me up at RightStepADV if you have a question, if you want to think about a scenario, if you have real questions about it. A ton of scenarios are going to come into play. All 32 GMs are making calls, receiving calls, talking about players. Many are going to get thrown out there. Very few end up coming to fruition. Even in the NFL, as we've seen a little bit of an uptick over the last 3 to 4 or 5 years. More big names being on the move, more big names being a part of trades. Again, very few, though, ultimately, with all the conversations happening, come to fruition. Again, more than just on-field performance comes into these. It's current contract, future contract, clauses, guarantees, other offsets. All are going to play a factor. All have to be sorted out prior to that deal happening. Again, at the end of the day, a lot of will be discussed. Every GM, whether they make a move or not, is having a conversation. So again, know your team is doing the best to try to get the best 53 on the field. Buckle up, though. Don't believe every rumor you hear. Many will be made up out of thin air. Many will be made up in just a hopes that, hey, man, this would just be fun to see this player here. Or, man, I think I know how to run this team better than they do, and this is what they should do. Definitely don't believe those ones. But again, hit me up at RightStepADV. Questions, thoughts, comments on any of these trades that are happening, trades that you would like to happen, trades that have been rumored. We will talk about them. I'll hit you up. I'll find out what the real story is. That is over at RightStepADV on X. Make sure you tune in the rest of this week as we get Mike McCartney, Jay Paterno, so many more guests, so much more good stuff. Not just talking about football, not just making stuff up, but every day watching football and most importantly, scouting.